Isosceles triangle, we haven't talked a whole lot about. We've been using it. It's two sides that are congruent, but the isosceles triangle has some really important qualities. When you name a triangle and you know what the vertex is, if they say triangle A, B, C, B is in the middle, that's the vertex. And that's going to be important because you're going to need that to know which two sides of the triangles are congruent then. So if this is the vertex will always be in between the two congruent legs. Isosceles triangle has two congruent sides. Not only do they have two congruent sides, they also have two base angles that are congruent to each other. So we can draw another picture for an isosceles triangle. And I'm going to put a marking on each side so that we know that it's an isosceles triangle. They have the same marking, but they also have two base angles that are congruent. Two congruent base angles and two congruent sides. That's going to be very helpful in doing those pictures where it's kind of like a puzzle and you got to figure out what your free information is. We have vertical angles are congruent. We have a linear pair that two angles that are on a line, they add up to 180 degrees. So this is like more free information. All right, so we want to know how much the measure of angle A is. What kind of triangle is this? How did you know it was isosceles? Exactly. They're telling you, hey, this has got two sides congruent. That automatically tells you you've got an isosceles triangle. And they told you 46 degrees. Is angle B one of the base angles? So which other angle is also going to be 46? So the other base angle of an isosceles triangle will be congruent. Angle B and C are congruent to each other. And you need to find angle A. Exactly. The angles of a triangle are 180 degrees, and you're subtracting off the other two angles. What'd you get, Annabelle? Looking at the next one, again, we know it's isosceles. So the most important thing that's going to be for you in geometry is always marking your picture for anything that's there. What else is some free information that I know here? I have two sides that are congruent. What else do I get from my isosceles triangle? The base angles are congruent to each other. So if angle R is X degrees, what else is X degrees? Exactly. So you've got to put it in your picture. That's how you're always going to be successful, is always marking up your picture. Okay, now I need to figure out how much angle T is. What could I do here? When I see a variable in the problem and they're all variables, what should I be thinking to try to do? Make an equation so I can solve for the variable. So what do you think? What kind of equation could I write for this? It's a triangle. What kind of things could I do with a triangle? How about the sum of the angles of a triangle? We know that the sum of the angles will be what? The sum of the angles is angle R plus, finish it for me, angle R plus angle S plus, there's your equation right there. There's my equal sign. I have a number that it's set equal to. And so now you're going to substitute in that angle R is X degrees, angle S is X degrees, and angle T is 3X degrees. And solve for X. Very good. What's 1X plus 1X plus 3X? 5X equals
180.
We've simplified this multi-step equation down into a one-step equation. What'd you get for x? Are we done? We're not done. How come? What did the question ask for? We need to find angle T. And we know that angle T is 3x. And we just found out what x was. X is 36. And so we find the measure of angle T equals okay, let's do a couple more of these isosceles triangle, and then we're going to go on to doing some review. We're looking for the measure of angle O. What kind of triangle is this? Isosceles. And isosceles gives us two congruent sides and two congruent base angles. What are the base angles here? Angle, we know that angle O and angle M are congruent to each other. What does congruent mean? They're the same. So we also know that M is also the same as 4y minus 15. So this is also 4y minus 15. So you got three angles in a triangle. What do you do with three angles in a triangle? And what do they equal? That's your equation. The sum of the angles of the triangle. So that means angle O plus angle M plus angle N equals 180. How you doing over there? Okay, what do you got going on? Good. Solve for y, and you got 14. Very good. So I was kind of freaked out a little bit after starting them equal to each other. So I'm like, am I getting my y value right? So I went back and substituted it in for all three angles. I did it for 7y, and I got 48, and then I did it for the 4y minus 15 and got 41, and of course you got two of those. And then I added them all up. What was I expecting to get? Exactly, and I did. So just kind of a little check right there.